Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pan the Organizer. So I have this Audi SQ5 behind me, and it will be our test vehicle because we're doing a full detail job today, but a simpler one. The reason being, I have a lot of questions from you guys, my viewers, that often ask me, Pan, I have an older vehicle or I took delivery of a new car. It has no protection on it, but I'm not ready for full machine polishing steps. I'm not quite safe or secure in doing that. And also, I'm not quite ready to be applying a full-blown ceramic coating, the ones in those little glass bottles, right? But I still want something that will last more than 1 or 2 months like a traditional carnauba wax. What kind of steps do I do? And I want to keep everything as simple as possible with the least amount of products possible, but still to get an awesome job and to make the vehicle easier to, of course, clean during your maintenance washes and add gloss, add slickness, add resistance to chemicals, so on and so forth. So this is the video for you guys. We're going to keep things to a minimum, but we're still going to do our due diligence and make sure that we do the appropriate steps. By the way, I'll leave the links to all the tools, products, and equipment in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And most importantly, enjoy the simple transformation. I know you guys often see my full detailing videos. So I detail cars from the beginning all the way till the end. We go through all the full 9 yards because those are customer vehicles that pay for the ultimate package, meaning a full paint decontamination, a full paint correction to get the paint perfect or as near as perfect as possible for a daily driver. You want to preserve the clear coat, of course, as much as possible. And also we apply a multi-year ceramic coating on those. However, for any person out there that doesn't feel comfortable in doing all those steps, you might not have the experience yet, or simply you don't have the tools to do all of that, there's still a very good way to achieve some awesome results. And you're still going to get up to a year of protection with one of the best ceramic light protections that you can apply on the market today, according to me. And it's something in a spray form that is even easier to apply compared to a carnauba wax. You cannot get this wrong, but we're going to go through the steps and motions because the importance is to prep the paint beforehand. So we're still going to decontaminate, do a decon wash with a higher alkaline shampoo that's going to strip off potentially any cheap wax that was applied by the dealership before the delivery, because they often do that. Basically, the point is we want to degrease the surface as much as possible. We're going to do a combination of the clay stage, so the mechanical decontamination and chemical decontamination with an iron remover to remove brake dust, especially on these German high performance cars. There's a lot of brake dust, as you guys know, high performance brakes, so on and so forth. So all those steps we're going to combine into one with a synthetic perforated decontamination towel and the iron remover used as a clay lubricant. You're going to get all the info in the video, so stay tuned, no worries about that. So the paint will be fully stripped, degreased, cleaned. We're going to still do a paint prep spray to remove any residues on there or any fingerprints, any smudges, any remaining oils that might be on the vehicle itself, or finalize the stripping of any older wax or sealant if you have an older vehicle that still might be there, all in an effort to get the paint squeaky clean and decontaminated. That's the most important. So before you apply protection, the paint correction steps aren't as important unless you have an old coating that you want to remove. At that point, yes, the only way to ensure 100% removal is through machine polishing. But in this case, there is zero protection on the paintwork. The owner never protected it, and you might have an older vehicle that was never protected. And this is the video for you guys. So enough talking, let's jump right into the demo.
All right, for the pre-wash, as a snow foam, we're using the Armor Detail Supply Decon soap. This has a pH of 11, and in the foam cannon container, I have 900 milliliters of water and 90 milliliters of soap, or 3 ounces of soap and 30 ounces of water. You mix that up. We're gonna foam it on the vehicle. I'm foaming it on dry, so the soap has more of a clinging ability on the paint that way, and it's not overly diluted. So this is going to start to break down any of the road film, traffic film, any greases that might be on there. And of course, a safe and effective pre-wash is always a good idea because you have less chances of scratching or marring the paint during the contact wash. Also, this soap can start to break down any older waxes or sealants. Of course, those that have been there for a while, any freshly applied protection, this soap will not remove that. That's not what it's meant to do. But here again, we're assuming that the vehicle has no protection. A way to visually see if a car has any protection on it, usually a visual indicator is if you see any round water beading and quick sheeting of the water, it's usually a sign that there's something on there. Here we can tell that the water is pretty flat on the panels and there's absolutely no water beading. The water is very, very slow to sheet sheet off. So it was already a good indicator that there was nothing on there. We suspected that anyways because the owner said he had never protected it, but this is a confirmation. For the wheels and tires, I'm using Maniac Line Wheel and Tire Cleaner, diluted 1:5 in a IK foaming pump sprayer. I'm using a variety of brushes, so the Detail Factory tire brush to scrub the tire walls, the Easy brush for the wheel barrels, a new Detail Factory wheel face brush that is very plush and soft, so it has kind of open-ended feathered bristles at the end, and another Detail Factory boar hair brush for the wheel calipers and the lug nuts, and then we're rinsing away before we move to the next step, which is we are going to refoam the vehicle once again using that same leftover Decon soap from Armor Detail Supply in the foam cannon. We're going to use that as extra lubrication for the contact wash, and this soap has a double duty, so it can be used as a snow foam in your foam cannon, but we're also going to use it as the soap in the bucket. So in my 5-gallon wash bucket, I have roughly 4 gallons of water. I'm adding 3 ounces of the Decon soap, or 90 milliliters in there, foam it up with the pressure washer, and we're good to go. We're still going to use the classic method to wash the vehicle, so wash from top to bottom, flip your towel every now and then. So I always start with the roof, then I do the glass in the middle portion of the body. You can flip the towel over, dunk your mitt inside the wash bucket with the grit guard in the bottom to remove or knock off a little bit of that loose grit that's on there. And as you can see, I flip my mitt often when I'm switching panels and things like that. And I keep the bottom always for the end. You don't want to cross-contaminate because the bottom portions of the vehicle are always the dirtiest, right? So this classic method continues. Don't apply too much pressure. Let the mitt do the work for you. I always like to use microfiber wash mitts, in this case a Chenille wash mitt, but there are other types of microfiber wash mitts as well. I know some people like to use lamb wool type mitts, whatever works for you, as long as you're gentle on the finish. That's the entire purpose, because the majority of the swirls and scratches happen during the contact wash, and also when you're towel drying the vehicle if you use a towel to dry it. So keep that in mind. That's where the love marks happen. So once we're done washing the vehicle, we're going to fully rinse it once again. By the way, I work in a controlled environment, so this is 20 degrees Celsius or 68 degrees Fahrenheit, and I have a dehumidifier to keep the humidity at bay. Next, we're going to use an iron remover from DIY Detail to remove the brake dust from the wheels. And for the rest of the paintwork, we're using that same DIY Detail iron remover as a clay lubricant because it contains no solvents in it. So if you want to use an iron remover as a clay lube, make sure it does not have any solvents. And we're using the DIY Detail synthetic perforated decontamination towel. So this is made to combine both the iron removing stage and the mechanical decontamination with the clay media. In this case, this is non-abrasive, so you don't have to worry about marring the surface like a traditional clay bar, which are more aggressive because those are abrasive. So keep that in mind as well. Next, we're rinsing off that iron remover. You saw that purple bleeding on the floor? That indicates all the brake dust. So all that chemical reaction, the exothermic reaction that happens. Next, to protect the wheels, we're going to use DIY Detail Quick Beads, a graphene-based spray-on rinse-off sealant. You spray on the wet surface, you wait 30 seconds, and then you rinse from the bottom up to activate the sealant with some protection there, and the water activates all of that. It's going to make the cleaning of the wheels a lot easier in the future. So that's always a quick solution for people who want to make wheel maintenance a lot easier. I'm using a floor squeegee to push a lot of the water in one of the 2 drains that I have in my garage. So I like to keep the shop floor clean. A lot of people ask me, how do you keep that floor so clean? Well, just a pressure rinse most often, and using that squeegee really helps. So regular maintenance, and every now and then I can use an APC, scrub the floor, pressure rinse, and we're good to go. Next, I'm not using a blower here because there's no protection on the paintwork. There's no water beading and no sheeting. So using an air blower isn't as efficient, and you're going to take a lot more time. So we use blowers when you have paint protection. So a towel, microfiber towel to dry the paint. We're going to use the Geon Prep. So this is an isopropyl alcohol-based paint prep solution, which we're spraying on the towel, spraying on the surface, and that's going to remove any potential leftover older waxes or older sealants. Again, I can't stress it enough. Older waxes or older sealants. This is not made to remove freshly applied protection, but we knew there was already no protection on there. So it's basically to remove potentially any residue or any fingerprints, any oils that might be on there, and prep the surface for the application of this, the star of the show, the Geon Can Coat Evo. So this is literally a coating in spray form. This is not your average 1 to 3 month durability spray sealant. So you're going to take a microfiber towel, fold it, and you're going to spray away from the vehicle and into the towel just like this. Make sure you spray away from the vehicle because all those particulates in the air when they land, this is a hardcore coating. So it can last up to 12 months now, the Evo version, and you can even apply it outdoors. They mentioned that if you apply it outdoors, make sure the weather forecast doesn't have any water or rain for 24 hours after the application. If you're applying indoors like me, you only need 12 hours of curing before you can expose the vehicle to water or rain. So you basically spray on the towel, a few sprays per panel. You wipe it in. You can do the cross hatch pattern if you want, as I'm showing here. So left to right and up and down. The purpose is to have even coverage, and then you simply wipe off. You flip the towel to the clean and dry side, or you can have a second clean and dry towel just for the buffing purposes. And as you can see, you get that immediate gloss and slickness. Do not wash the car for the 7 next days after the application, just like a coating. So this is pretty hardcore. It's going to give you good chemical resistance, pH 2 to pH 11. It's going to give you up to 12 months of durability. It's going to make, of course, the car easier to clean thanks to the self-cleaning properties, give you that gloss, that slickness. We're going to see the end results, and you're also going to see the water beading, how it looks like after a slight rainfall that happened. So that was pretty cool to see the water behavior. Here I'm using one of my favorite glass cleaners, Traceless by Biltamber. Works super well with a glass cleaning towel, short nap, low linting, no linting. And for the tires, CarPro Dark Side Tire Sealant, fantastic finish. So let's gather the final thoughts.
So the vehicle behind me is now not only protected, it's glossy, it's slick, it has hydrophobic properties, it has resistance to chemicals, it's going to have self-cleaning properties, meaning it's going to be a lot easier to clean during the maintenance washes. Let's have a closer look. So if you can tell, the paint is very, very glossy. It's dripping wet. It has that mirror shine. It has that awesome slickness. Now we're going to let this cure for a minimum of 12 hours. Ideally, you want to let it indoors for 24 hours. You can apply this outside, no problem, as long as you're not working in direct sunlight, and make sure that the forecast doesn't have any rain for 24 hours. So indoor curing 12 hours, for outdoors 24 hours recommended without any contact or rain. And of course, wait 7 days before you wash your car again. So that's very important. I would actually recommend waiting 2 weeks. That's what I typically suggest to my customers. And as you guys saw, it not only looks amazing, does it still have blemishes, scratches, and swirls, and residue of bug guts that have started etching through the clear coat because they had been left unattended? Sure, this is not a perfection because we're not doing any paint correction. And yeah, the results are absolutely still insane. The customer is going to likely be very, very happy. If you're a professional detailer and you're offering this package, by the way, this is for the people who don't necessarily have a budget for very expensive 4-figure type details with a full 2-stage paint correction, the application of a full-blown ceramic coating in those glass bottles that last for many, many years. There's a lot more work involved. Typically for me, working on cars like that, if you've seen my full detailing videos for the interior, exterior, the whole 9 yards, including paint correction and ceramic coating application, we're talking 10 to 15 hours. So obviously you have to factor that in and have communication and explain that to the customer. If you're a DIYer and you don't want to machine polish your vehicle, the paint looks good enough to you, or you want something but you're not quite ready yet for a ceramic coating in a glass vial, but you do want more protection than a Carnauba wax, which typically lasts anywhere from 1 to 3 months. Well, this Geon Can Coat Evo can last up to 12 months, and the properties are way superior to any regular wax out there. So you're going to get the best of both worlds, meaning you're going to get more durability than a wax. You're still going to get the gloss and slickness, the ease of washing, the hydrophobic properties, all that good stuff, but at a much less expensive price. This, including filming the video, took me roughly 3 hours today. So if I hadn't had to film all the shots, move the cameras around, the lighting, and have to worry about that, I could probably knock it out in 2 to 2.5 hours. So that gives you a time frame. So way less time spent, because obviously you're not doing the paint correction, and applying that spray coating is much, much easier compared to any other regular ceramic coating. And only one layer is required in this case. So fantastic results. What do you guys think? If you've tried, by the way, the new Evo version of Can Coat, because the previous one had a durability of up to 6 months, and the Evo is up to 12 months. That's what I've been seeing in real world conditions, 10 to 12 months durability, including through the Canadian winters. So prep is key, guys. So you don't have to machine polish, but what you have to make sure of is, like we did here, use a stripping soap, so higher pH, to degrease the surface, remove the road film, start the breakdown process of older waxes and sealants if there are old protections on there. Technically, this is meant more for a vehicle that has no protection on the paintwork and you want to do something about that. And then you are going to do the decontamination. So the iron remover to remove brake dust, and the clay stage. We used a synthetic perforated decontamination towel in this case. So it's not abrasive. It doesn't mar the surface. And we combined it with the iron remover. So 2 steps in one, because normally you start with the iron remover, you rinse off, then you move to the clay stage. But in some cases, like with this synthetic perforated clay towel and that specific DIY detail iron remover, you can use the iron remover as a clay lubricant. Now, I get this question asked many times. Can you use any iron remover as a clay lube? No. You have to use iron removers that do not have solvents in them. So you have to do your due diligence and do some work, figure out which ones are compatible, because if you use iron removers with solvents in them, that will degrade the clay media or the clay surface. So you don't want that. So in this case, the combo is perfect. We rinsed off. So now we have a degreased, clean, squeaky clean, decontaminated surface, which is key. We also went an extra step and made sure to use the isopropyl alcohol mix. In this case, it was Geon Prep. That's a paint prep spray to remove any residual oils, and if there were potentially any of the very old waxes or sealants left, that would remove that as well. But the IPA does not remove freshly applied protection, and certainly not an existing ceramic coating. So if you have something that already exists on your paint and you want to remove it, the only way to ensure 100% removal is through machine polishing. Those are the cases where you're going to have to bust out the polisher, because you need the mechanical abrasion and friction from the compounding polish and the pad to remove whatever more durable protection is underneath. But again, this video is meant for people who don't have any protection on their vehicle, or potentially have a wax that you applied maybe 3-4 months ago and there's really nothing left. The key indicator to know if you have anything on the surface, if you don't see any water beading and there's very slow sheeting water that just pools up, that's a visual indicator that most likely there's no protection left. Because if you did have paint protection on your paint, you would get nice tight round water beads. The water flees off or sheets off very quickly. So that's again a visual indicator that there's some sort of protection on the paintwork. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I remind you that I'll leave all the links to the tools, products, and equipment in the description under the video for you guys to check those out if you need to cop anything. And yeah, smash the thumbs up. And if you like these kinds of videos, it doesn't always have to be, as you saw, a full-blown 2-stage paint correction, full-blown ceramic coating, 10-15 hour jobs. You can do a lot to your vehicle to enhance and to protect it and to make easier to clean. I mean, if I look at that, the gloss is insane. And hopefully you enjoyed this too. If there's any other types of videos in the easy to do detail that you can do at home, let me know of any topic. By the way, I have 1,000 videos on my channel so far, so you likely always have topics that you can search on my channel and find an answer or solution to your problem or question. In the meantime, guys, don't forget, keep it tight, keep it clean, and I'll see you on the next one.